So check it out, guys. A good friend of mine, Marcel, has been restoring 70s Yamaha Enduro bikes and bringing them to us to sell for years. Buying, restoring, riding and enjoying them, and then selling them. This is a 75, and a cool story behind this one, actually. Listen to that exhaust note. Let it idle, Bill. How cool is that? Demonstrate the blinkers, Bill. And the lights, too. There we are. Blinkers. Headlight, taillight, blinkers, horn. Electrically, she's a 10. You shut it off, Bill. So we actually sold this bike a couple years back to Marcel, and his plan was to build it for his brother. We sold it not running as sort of a restoration candidate, another period where our service department was heavily backlogged and we chose to thin the herd, if you will. So Marcel took the motor out of the frame and did a frame off restoration on it. So the frame has a fresh automotive quality paint job. The motor has been taken apart and rebuilt. It's got a brand new piston, bored fourth over, and all the running gear has been gone through. The suspension rebuilt. It's got new tires, brakes as well, all new controls. It has a new seat cover on the original seat pan, and it's got a beautiful tank with original paint. The gauges are crystal clear, showing just over 2,000 miles. And this bike doesn't have more than a couple hundred miles on this complete restoration that was done sometime in the last 48 months. But like I said before, Marcel is a specialist with these, and this is really his bread and butter right here. He knows everything about these bikes, and he does fantastic work. We've sold several of his bikes on the page here, and they always go quickly. Oh yeah, the oil injection pump was bled and timed properly. That's all fully functional. Yeah, check it out, all the little details, the factory reflectors. It's sold on Rhode Island, transferable registration. Rhode Island's a title exempt state, so the documents that I provide will be sufficient for titling in any state or registering the bike if your state doesn't classic titles. But this is a no excuses piece that is turnkey, that is ready to go, that is ready to ride, enjoy, and then register in your state. Yeah, the exhaust is in very good condition, and the frame rails are virtually perfect. You see a lot of guys powder coating frames. Look at the paint on the frame, guys. This is a three-stage automotive quality paint job, and it actually has metal flake in it, which the GoPro might not pick up, but the frame paint is just gorgeous.
In this period, these bikes, a lot of these bikes were used as enduro mounts, and anything that was used in enduros wouldn't show anywhere near this well. This bike has not been used off-road, and it's evident the skid plate doesn't have a nick in it. And if you ride off-road, you're going to get a nick in the skid plate, especially around here in New England, Rhode Island, Connecticut, doesn't matter. There's rocks everywhere, especially Rhode Island. So this bike has been lightly used. There's no evidence, and I'm pretty critical of little details, and all the details on this bike are correct that I can see, that I know of. The grips, levers, even the guards, the shields on the levers, they're OEM style correct. You know, the grips look to be original.
Right. Well, it's pretty easy for someone to miss something in a restoration if they're not in tune with the model. Marcel's been obsessed with these since the 70s.
Yeah, that's evident.
This is all that he does.
Yep.
So he constantly has a couple builds on the table. And yeah, the buyer of this bike, I'll talk to Marcel. We can get you his contact, and if you'd like to chat with Marcel on it. But this is a no excuses piece. We've seen the values really just sort of explode in the last couple of years. Like Billy was saying, by nature, all of these were wrecked. So to find one that's complete is, they're few and far between. And I think now that, especially with COVID, a lot of guys are home looking to restore, and the bikes that are out there are missing turn signals or have smashed fenders or what have you. So we're really seeing the prices of the parts go crazy. And what's the cost of restoration is also through the roof, not just for supplies, but labor is, if you can even find someone to work on a classic motorcycle, which
agreed.
Those types of shops are few and far between, and the ones that will are heavily backlogged and have, the labor rates are steep. So to do a frame-off restoration, what Marcel did, Marcel easily has 100 hours into this bike.
Yeah.
But perhaps more. Just thinking about it, planning the build and whatnot, that was a labor of love. But if you were to bring it to a shop that's competent to do, work that's comparable to Marcel's, what would you be spending, Billy? 100 hours?
Oh my
Figure
God.
The shop rates are going to start at $90.
Yeah, it'd be $10,000 in labor. Really, I mean, at 100 hours, is that a crazy number? I don't know. I don't know. I've never looked at one, but it would be an astronomical amount of money if you paid someone to do this work for you from scratch. If you brought him a bike that was in fair condition with most of the components on it that belong, the fenders, the seat, that kind of thing, the tank and engine. But to do an engine rebuild and a frame-off paint and full restoration, I can't even imagine what the number would be if you were to pay someone to do it.
We're seeing the earlier models eclipse the $10,000 mark and exceed that mark, and I feel like the values are finally starting to catch up with the cost of restoration. That's really what they should be bringing for a bike that's fully sorted, because you can't take a $2,000 75 DT250 turd and turn it into what we have here without spending a year of your time and a lot of dough. So
planning and know-how, knowledge, where to find this stuff, plating, painting. You have to have an expert for everything. I was thinking $10,000 in labor alone, not even parts.
Oh, right.
And that would be probably conservative. I'm thinking $100 an hour times 100 hours. And
what these bikes are bringing now, they're a bargain compared to what they will be in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a decade, the two-strokes will be phased out. Most of the new manufacturers have gone to electric, and the values of the old two-strokes will continue to rise. This is a really significant piece of history where, this is the first couple of years of heavy development in the two-stroke program, and where economical motorcycling, finally, motorcycling made its way to the masses, to the common folk. This is a bike that you can buy and commute and ride, and had just a fantastic setup that was durable. It's a low compression, single cylinder, two-stroke with auto lube injection. Anyone could jump on this bike and rebuild the top end in their garage. You didn't need specialty tools.
Right.
That's still true today.
Yes.
But just a phenomenally popular and still honored today. These bikes have a cult following.
I think Yamaha's DT range and their Yamaha Enduro range, all the way 125, 250, all the way up, was the beginning of dual sport riding. It really was. Because this is a bike you could go and ride and win an Enduro with, which was proven over and over again in New England, which is a great measure of how good a motorcycle is in Enduro riding. And you could ride it on the street and commute back and forth to work. So it isn't that, it's a bike that bridged the gap. And
Definitely.
Yamaha built on that over the years. And this is evidence of years of development. They started making the DT250 in '68. So they had several years to improve on it, and it's quite well developed at this point. And they started off on a good platform in '68. So here it is, a bike with no excuses.
Yeah, what we see now is a lot of guys will buy these as investments, and they're really art. And you know, if you're into owning physical assets, especially in times of high inflation, the motorcycle and car and truck market is a phenomenal place to park your bucks. In my opinion, when you look at the inflation rate from the last year, using the old CPI numbers that account for for real estate prices, inflation in 21 was over 15%.
Yeah.
So that's going to directly be correlated in your 401k. And in the bike and car market, when you see the comps just continue to climb because the demand is there and money's easier.
Yes.
And if you're looking to wedge some inflation, talk to your financial advisor.
Yeah.
But we see guys buying these, and you know, you could ride this on the road, register it, title it, and ride it on Sundays and enjoy it for another 30 years without having it degrade in any way. If you go do a hard enduro, that might be another story, but you can ride this bike and continue to see appreciation and actually have a physical asset that you can go out into the garage and look at it and toy around with it, and that's what's up, instead of just seeing numbers in an account.
That's right. Yeah, a piece of paper or a report on a screen. Instead of that, you have a bike you can go put your hands on and go enjoy and watch the value increase if you take good care of it. Like this one has been is a good start for that kind of an investment.
Definitely. And if you're on a budget, you can do what Marcel did with this bike, and if you do the work yourself, you can see a phenomenal return on investment. But if you want to buy something that's done, and instead of spending your, you know, what's your time worth to you? You know, you see, doing a build like this will put pressure on relationships. You know, it take a lot of time away from you. You know,
it does. It's not only just the work itself. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
It's not only the work itself that you're doing. It's the sourcing of, you know, people that can do the work for you. You know, not everyone can do plating or painting or, you know, in their home, so they have to source that work. Even putting a seat cover on is not for everyone. An upholsterer has to do that work in a lot of cases. And you know, engine work, you know, there's a lot of specific things here that would need doing, that would take a lot of time and would take away from everything else in your life. In this case, it's all been done for you.
Definitely.
And very well done.
That's for sure.
Yep.
If you have any questions, guys, call us 860-454-7024. Message your zip code on eBay for a shipping quote. We can ship it anywhere in the States or overseas inexpensively. We can help you with that. Or you could message us through our website. It goes directly to my email. I'd be more than happy to help you with the shipping quote or any questions you have on the bike. So if you watched this far, thank you, guys. You're the best. Super grateful for all of our subscribers, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year playing with old school bikes with my Uncle Billy.
All right, Uncle Bill.
So seniors away, but the boys are still going to play. So
right.
Like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Notification bell. Check out all the cool bikes we got going. God bless America, and God bless Rockville PD for keeping us safe.
All right. God bless America.